So my name is Nia Wong. I am the main evening anchor for the ABC affiliate in Spokane, Washington. Our call letters are KXLY, but we are branded for News Now. So our project was branded for the people for election coverage. This was a new approach for us. We wanted to really hear out the community and make election coverage more approachable, less scary. So when we did this project, my bosses, the digital team, the newsroom, we got together and we decided to make me the face of this project. So I was one of the leaders of this. So during the first week, we utilized both TV and digital, and here's how we did it. We ran a series of promos to just kind of explain how we wanted to do coverage different from the rest.
It's election season, and like everything else in 2020, it's like nothing we've seen before. I'm Nia Wong. That's why 4 News Now isn't covering it like we have before. This year, you're driving our coverage. We want to know which issues matter the most in our local elections with coverage for the people. Tell us what issues matter to you. We'll investigate and help you cast your vote. Make your voice heard at KXLY.com and watch For the People only on 4 News Now.
So this was the first promo, driving people to another section, a new section of our webpage, kxly.com/forthepeople. And this is where we really wanted to send people to during the first week. It was on your left, you can see on your screen, the question that we embedded into this new elections coverage of our website. It was a simple general call. What matters the most to you? So during the first week, we got a whopping like 10 to 20 questions, which is, I thought was a pretty good start. So people were concerned about climate change, ballot safety. I mean, they gave us a bunch of issues, and we narrowed it down from there. However, as one of the leaders of this project, I assumed that we were going to get a lot of hits digitally once we ran these promos during the first week. I let 2 precious weeks go by, and we saw a big drop. People forgot about this project already. And so that's when I had to kind of rally the producers, my boss. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't let this thing die. So we ran more promos. Well, not promos. We ran the promos between the shows, but in the shows, we would run really quick hits about, hey, we're doing For the People. We want to hear from you. Please go to the website. Every time we did a hit on TV, we got 5 more questions in. So we had to continuously do these hits in our broadcasts while also, pumping this on our social media pages to remind people. It was a strategy that worked. So from week 3 and until the rest of the project, that's what we did. We were able to cultivate all these stories from people's concerns. We were able to pull in contact information with their consent. We got people to sign up for our daily local, which is our nightly newsletter, runs just 7 days. And we were able to use this to battle misinformation. And also from these questions, it helped cultivate our voters guide. I've only been at KXLY for about 1.5 years. They've always done voter guides online, but this just helped kind of mold it a little bit more. And so here's what we turned it into. So I have cut up our online voter guide, but this is what people really cared about. They wanted to know where to find ballot drop boxes. So our digital manager actually went to all these rural towns, called up, where can people drop off their ballots. And so we made this interactive map on our online voter guide. We made sure to also, tell people how they could vote. We had 2 separate voter guides as well. We are based in Spokane, Washington, but we serve Eastern Washington, parts of Central Washington, and also North Idaho. So yeah, a bunch of different elections initiatives, and we put them into these guides you can see over here. To the engaged stories, from the questions that we were able to pull and turn stories, we made sure to update our story list on our voter guide. And then we also reminded people on air, like, hey, with their permission, maybe like Sarah asked this question, and well, we took her question straight to this candidate or to the county auditors. We really wanted people to feel like they were engaged with us. But yeah, we always had to draw people back into our online resources because that's where we put everything. And so it helped cultivate our voter guide. These were our metrics. When we were putting together this project, I would have been happy with 100 questions. We ended up getting 270, more than 270 unique questions. Every time someone asked a question, there was a little option at the bottom where you can opt in or opt out of our daily local newsletter. Well, most people chose to opt in. So we gained more people onto our newsletter subscription list. When we looked at the November book, so on TV, we have these ratings months. You have to know the history of KXLY too. There are 3 TV stations in town. KXLY has historically been the last ranked station, at least for a good decade. But for the past year or two, we have seen growth. And in November, we saw that again. We were number 2, a solid number 2 in our key demos, which is, I mean, we're very, very happy about that. Cable gave all the local TV stations in town a little bit of a beating, but when it came to our 5 o'clock show, we grew. In our 6 p.m. show, we were the only station that saw growth. So yeah, lots of celebrations there. What we gained from this. So as I mentioned, November ratings up, they were good. With our different coverage, we told people we would take their questions to the candidates. And throughout the October, November months, we did have to reach out to these candidates and we would get statements because they were busy. They were busy campaigning, which is understandable. But we were the only station in Spokane, Eastern Washington, to secure a major interviews. We landed Governor Jay Inslee and his rival, Chief Lauren Culp, for one-on-ones. And we used questions people had for the governor, the gubernatorial candidates, and we asked them, and we turned into a story. And to me, that's a big win to land these major interviews. We saw deeper engagement with the community too. And you watched one promo in which we explained what the For the People project was. Midway through, we ran another promo with me. It's a little bit long. Maybe I'll show it in the breakout room. But it was just talking about our stories, you know, why we vote, why we think it's important, what's our history here in this country. And after we ran that second longer promo, we actually got some really nice emails. We got some nice messages. They weren't the typical troll emails, and we all know what those are like, but we got some very thoughtful essays about how people felt included. So yeah, I was really happy about that. What we learned, big topics. People wanted to know about ballot security. They wanted to know about the gubernatorial race and the initiatives. Education and money, that was a big one. We did a lot of TV hits to drive people online to our voters guide, and most of our questions came from older generations. And they just had basic voting questions. Like, I knew going into this election that not everybody would know who our House reps were. They wouldn't know, you know, the role of the senators, exactly what the governors would do. But then we also discovered that people just have like the most basic voting questions, and we answered them throughout the election season.
I'm gonna have to stop just about there. If you want to just sum it up for us real quickly here.
Sure, sorry about that. I knew I'd go long. With our For the People project, we were the only station to have this community-minded way of covering the elections. And so while For the People is done for now until the midterms, I do find For the People to be a mindset. So while we learn that people have basic voting questions, basic election questions, we are kind of continuing for the people quietly until the next election. And by that, I'm saying that we are keeping our elected officials in the spotlight. And anytime a major bill passes through Congress, I make sure to flash our local representatives' faces, names, and tell people how they voted, just so people don't forget.